Ideal mesmo para o mundo atual seria fazer o ensino médio junto com o curso técnico, certo? É no Senac que o aluno tem autonomia de verdade, formação cidadã, foco na diversidade, preparação para o Enem, material didático sem taxas e muito mais. Na real, tem tudo que você precisa para se sentir preparado para a vida. Seja para entrar no mundo do trabalho ou te ajudar a decidir o que fazer na faculdade. Quer saber? Senac. Vem comigo. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino-médio-técnico.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Now we have John McLaughlin, a Trump pollster, to break down some of the numbers and what he uncovered. John, first of all, congratulations. We know how hard you worked.
Well, it's actually it's just an honor to be able to work for Donald Trump again. This is our third campaign together. So, and by the way, it's great coming on after Ari Fleischer, because Ari and I first worked together in 1982 when he was a campaign press secretary. I was working for Arthur Finkelstein at the time. So
wow.
So it's like yeah. So there's a lot of wisdom now on the interview. But for President Trump, I mean, you know, it was great because he was determined. He was on a mission. And when you think about the things that they tried to do to him to stop him from running, because he was a historic candidate when he won in 2016, that he beat the Republican establishment, and then he went on to beat the Washington establishment and win the general election. And still they fought him the whole way because of the change he represents. And then you get in 2020, they did everything to beat him. And I got a call from a friend in Israel who works for the prime minister who says, this might be the first candidate since FDR that actually won 3 presidential races in a row. And I'm like, I don't know. They didn't count the 2020 race. But this one, President Trump won this race decisively, and he listened, and he was determined, and he's running because he wants to put the country back on the right track, because 7 out of 10 voters say we're on the wrong track.
Yeah, and you know what, John McLaughlin, Trump pollster, I was just reading some of the numbers. I mean, what's amazing to me, looking at like some where he made gains compared to prior Republicans, and even himself beating his own records. But men +3 women, which they thought, would be a deficit. She got less women than they expected. He got more. Also, non-college educated +6, Hispanics +6. That's extraordinary. Beat and winning on Hispanic males. That's unbelievable. That hasn't happened for a long time. Black males +7, and young voters +10. All those like podcasts I think of him doing in his final days, Joe Rogan, some of these other, the big podcasters, all of that paid off.
Well, that was our strategy. It's basically, when he ran in 2016 and when he ran in 2020, we never got a majority of the vote. And the strategy was to create a new majority coalition, to create a realignment. So 2 years ago when we met, Susie Wiles had me come down and see him after he announced, and we had to put him in the right direction, because he knew things were wrong with the country and he wanted to turn things around, whether it's inflation, whether it's the open borders and immigration and crime, et cetera. All the voters existed for us in the disapproval of Joe Biden, which became the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris disapproval. And to get a majority coalition, we needed African-American voters. We needed Hispanic voters. We needed suburban women. We needed younger voters. And Dick Morris and John Jordan and myself actually did some surveys where we showed, and it was Dick's idea, about how you could break apart the legs of the Democrat coalition and bring them into the Republican Party. And for President Trump, it was like, we need to get more African-American voters. This is what they care about. We need to get more Hispanic voters, of which he got 45% in the CNN exit polls yesterday, which means that's a record for Republicans.
Yep.
That's a point higher than what George W. Bush got in 2004. And we needed to get suburban women, et cetera, and they cared about inflation. They cared about their families. They cared about safety. And we needed to get younger voters, and younger voters extremely frustrated by inflation. There was a lot of common intersections here where they expected to have a better life, and do better, but, rents are high. They weren't getting quite the jobs they thought they would get. Cars got really expensive. The idea of buying a home where the mortgage payment is double what it was 4 years ago when Trump was president. The idea of going to the grocery store and having to make a decision whether you get meat or not, or something like that, where younger families and younger voters were just, they were available to us. And President Trump was disciplined and he went after it and he came up with a plan for each of these things that he was going to do.
And look, it came through. It was executed. John McLaughlin, Congratulations. You worked so hard. Of course, President Trump at the helm of it all, but an extraordinary win. Bravo, bravo.
Yeah, John, this is Rudy. I think the networks lost their credibility last night.
Yeah, I think they lost a lot.
They lost it. They had lost it way before this because the voters were ignoring them. They were ignoring their polls. People just, Brent Bozell did a media study since they picked Harris. The Media Research Center said 79% of the coverage of her was positive, 85% was negative on Trump. It just lost all credibility. In the debate, the one debate they had, it was a 3-on-1 match.
Yep.
So, if you want the truth, listen to WABC Radio, catch Rita's show, catch the Cats Roundtable. But people are looking for the truth, whether it's in social media or other places, and you provide it. So,
common sense. That's the bottom line. John McLaughlin, congrats. Thank you very much. And that is what we're all about here on Cats and Cosby. Thanks, John.